Hey everybody, really glad to be with you. We're entering into Pride season. It's June 20th when I'm speaking to you. I wanted to just update you on the demo I attended on Monday. It was a national day of action called by doctors and healthcare providers. And this day of action was called to defend the rights of refugees to receive adequate health care in this country. There were demos right across the country in cities of Vancouver to the East Coast to Halifax, and of course we had a big one in Toronto where I think at least 500 people came out and demonstrated in front of 25 St. Clair Avenue East, which is a big Service Canada and a big government building location where Citizenship and Immigration Canada and as well as many other services are located. So it was a really wonderful demo. They had many speakers from different parts of the healthcare profession talking about what will happen to refugees in this country if the government goes forward with its plans to end most healthcare coverage for most refugees on June 30th. So the demonstration was fabulous. We hope that the federal government will listen to doctors, nurses, community health clinics, nurse practitioners, all sorts of other people who work with refugees. Many of the people who spoke said that if the government chooses to do this, because they take an oath when you become a doctor in particular, when you take an oath to protect people's health and to provide services. So many people pledge that they will continue to provide these services, which is great. But of course we need to be letting the federal government know that we protest this, that this is a racist policy, that this is an anti-immigrant, anti-refugee policy, that this will cost people their lives. They're talking about removing healthcare services from women who are pregnant, from people with diabetes, from children who are experiencing different kinds of illnesses. They're talking about with people with psychiatric or mental health problems. They're talking about removing healthcare from treatments for those people and only providing them if people become a danger to themselves or others. Of course, this kind of policy is guaranteed to drive more people into that position. If mental health issues and psychiatric disabilities are not treated and dealt with early on, then of course people's mental health will worsen until they do get to the point where they feel desperate enough to hurt themselves or hurt other people, most likely themselves. So this government is effectively saying, well, not our problem. This is a terrible, awful policy, a terrible action for our federal government to take. They're talking about it saving about $100 million over a course of years. $100 million is nothing. And in any case, when we're talking about people's health, we're talking about their right to health care as residents of this country, as people who have fled to this country, then whether or not there's a savings of money is immaterial in any case. This is on top, of course, of other punitive measures that the federal government is taking against refugees, wanting to put refugees who arrive in groups in jail for up to a year with little to no review, wanting to make immigrants to this country who are in relationships that are new relationships just before they come to the country, wanting to make those people, particularly women, stay in those relationships for 2 years before they can achieve permanent residency. Many other measures that have happened over the last few years, all adding up to incredibly racist attacks on new immigrants and on refugees. This is rightfully putting Canada in a position where we are being questioned by the United Nations, where other countries are looking at Canada and wondering what the heck is going on here. How is it that Canada, which once was considered to be one of the more welcoming nations in the world to people who were fleeing abuse and fleeing violence in their home countries, we are now having the reputation, and it is justifiable, reputation that we are in fact a very cruel and punitive country, a country that is not welcoming refugees or immigrants. And the only immigrants we seem to be welcoming here in Canada is immigrants who we are here on temporary work permits, immigrants that we are taking actions to exploit by authorizing paying new immigrants here on temporary work permits less than what is paid to Canadians. So these are policies we have to protest, we have to stand up against. We have to let the federal government and the world know that the majority of Canadians do not support these kinds of policies and these kinds of actions against refugees and new immigrants. It's important not only to attend demonstrations like the one on Monday, but it's also important to let your federal MP know what you think. You can find their address on the government's website at www.canada.ca. You can just search on the page easily and find out who your MP is and what their contact information is. And I do urge you to call or write to your MP and copy Jason Kenney on that. Jason Kenney, of course, is the Minister of Immigration and Citizenship, or the Deportation Minister, as he's increasingly becoming known. And it's important to let him know what you think. So I encourage you to do that. And I also encourage you to get out to some of the big events that are planned. Of course, over Pride, you can go to the Pride Toronto website and find out all about what's going on in terms of the Dyke March, in terms of the Pride March on Sunday, June 30th. Find out about all sorts of affiliated Pride events. There's a Pride Prom, of course, every year. Buddies in Bad Times has lots of Pride events as well if you visit their website. Or check out, Extra Newspaper and Fab News Magazine and all of those kinds of publications. You're going to be able to find out about those events. But if you go to Facebook and put in Queers for Social Justice into your Facebook search engine, you're going to come up with lots of wonderful events also being planned by a newly formed group called Queers for Social Justice. In fact, today, Wednesday, June 20th, there's a Marshall's meeting they're encouraging people to come out to find out how they can participate. But just in case you miss the Marshall's meeting, it's not too late to sign up to help out with either marshalling or giving out pamphlets or that kind of thing, and to participate in a number of events. So I'm going to fire off some information to you about the different events that Queers for Social Justice has organized over the next week, starting on June 25th. So that's Monday, June 25th at 11:30 a.m. The traditional Pride flag raising happens at City Hall on Monday at noon. And what Queers for Social Justice are doing is they're inviting you to attend a die-in. This is the first of 3 die-ins. These are designed to highlight the fact that queer and trans people are continuing to lose their lives, not only here in Canada, but all over the world. Of course, we've had the tragic suicides of youth in this country due to bullying, due to basically losing hope that they will ever be accepted for who they are, and we've had several campaigns around that. So that's been highlighted here in Canada and the United States. And I want to always link those suicides as well, and remind people that there are suicides among Native youth that are at incredibly tragic levels in this country as well. And some of those youth may be two-spirited, we don't know, but it's really important to link the fact that young people in this country, whether it's due to their sexuality, their gender identity, whether it's due to desperation and hopelessness due to the years and years and years of colonization, the impacts of that colonization, too many young people losing their lives. So let's make sure to make those connections. But in addition to those tragedies, we have queer and trans people, of course, in many nations around the world. Their sexuality, their gender expression is illegal. And they are subjected to harsh and cruel laws, public humiliation in countries like Jamaica, in countries like Uganda, and in many other countries, in countries like Iran, where Iran would rather pay for trans people to have gender reassignment surgery than allow them to live their lives with gender expression in the ways that they choose. And so we've got to make sure to stand up for queer people around the world. We have queer Palestinians, of course, in the occupied territories who have no freedom of movement, along with their straight and brothers and sisters. And we fight for their rights, and they are dying as well due to the harsh policies of the Israel. We have queer and trans people suffering indignities all over the world. Women subject to violence against women. South Africa, we have the practice of corrective rape that is carried out against lesbians in an effort to force them to become straight. And I could go on and on. So these are the kinds of things that our Queers for Social Justice want to highlight, they want to demonstrate against. They've got lots of information on Facebook about their activities. They've got 3 die-ins planned. The first, Monday, June 25th. You can meet at City Hall in Nathan Phillips Square at 11:30. And then also that evening, at 8:30 p.m. there's a night march planned. So this is, in the past years, we've had Take Back the Dyke, we've had Stonewall. This year we've got the Queers for Social Justice Night March. It's on Monday, June 25th, 8:30 p.m. Again, meeting at Nathan Phillips Square. So make sure to check that out. I'll see you there. As I say, die-ins starting at 11:30. Just wanting you to meet. I just want to find out. A die-in flash mob protest at the flag raising. They're encouraging people to wear funeral attire. So join them there at 11:30 a.m. On June 28th, that's Thursday, June 28th at 6 p.m., you're invited to come to church in Wellesley and find Queers for Social Justice there, where another die-in will be staged at church in Wellesley at 6 p.m. And then, again, during the Dyke March, and that's to be announced, but during the Dyke March, which gathers, the Dyke March, I believe, usually gathers on Church Street near Church in Charles, I believe, so I'm assuming that that's where people will be gathering again this year, but the die-in will be to be announced, so check out the Facebook page to find out where that is. And the last event and this, I really want to commend the folks with this group. These events have all been organized within probably 2 or 3 weeks, and it's amazing what they've pulled together. Our community is, of course, an amazing fountain of organizers, and I really admire the work that folks are doing. So there's a picnic planned after the Dyke March from 3 to 5. This is my understanding for anyone who would like to join the picnic. It's at Allen Gardens. They're going to have childcare area. They're going to have arts and crafts. They're going to have speakers corner. They're going to have discussion groups, musical performers, poets, all sorts of stuff going on after the Dyke March from 3 to 5 p.m. in Allen Gardens. So there you have it, Queers for Social Justice. Find them on Facebook. Check out their little mini videos that they've got going, and check out the die-ins, the night march, and the picnic coming after the Dyke March on Saturday, June 29th. Lots of wonderful events, lots of reasons to demonstrate, of course, in support of queer people, not only here in Canada, not only here in Toronto, but around the world. So let's get out there into the streets, let's have a good time, but let's make sure to keep those politics in pride. All right, have a good one.